This summer you'll be hearing a rash of red-hot car bargains from other dealerships. But at Steve & Wade, we take the heat off with refreshing closeout prices. Save $1,800 on a Bonneville Brougham sedan, or buy a Bonneville coupe for only $56.87. Save $1,600 on a Grand Prix LJ, or buy a Grand Prix for only $54.87. Buy a Mazda GLC for less than $3,200 while supplies last. Don't get burned this summer. Beat the heat with closeout prices. You've got it made at Steve & Wade Pontiac Mazda.
During Utah's Days of 47 celebration, 42 citizens of Matsumoto, Japan will arrive in Salt Lake City to participate in the festivities. They will also be here to honor the 20th anniversary of the sister city affiliation between Matsumoto and Salt Lake City. This affiliation has been genuine and productive, involving the exchange of ideas and the sharing of cultures to the benefit of citizens of both communities. As mayor of Salt Lake City, I extend a warm welcome and congratulations to all.
According to the newest ARB TV audience survey, the Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 6 and 10 is #1 again.
We thank you.
Every one of you.
This is Dimension 5 Summer, the best of the season with Ed Yates, Louise Dane, Dwayne Cardall, and Lynn Packer. Good evening. The referee is the most ignored participant in a game until he makes a judgment everyone disagrees with. It's easy to be a bleacher coach and call the shots from the grandstands, but what about the guy who's actually wearing the stripes? Well, in January of this year, we moved out of the grandstands to the floor and joined Ray Hale for an inside look at a professional referee. Dwayne Cardall was there and watched the conflicts.
Offensive foul, 22. Number 22, an offensive foul. It's a charge. Come this way.
No one in athletics is as abused, harassed, and unappreciated as the referee. Creating controversy by the blow of a whistle is his inherent lot. Hearing boos and four-letter words, receiving threats, and having bodyguards are part of his job. So who would ever want to be a referee? Ray Hale, for one. He's been at it now for 25 years, a veteran by all standards. And he's one of the best, whether it's football or basketball, high school or college. To date, he has officiated nearly 4,000 major athletic contests, including bowl games and college championships. And he can tell you about any of them from these diaries he's kept over the years.
I keep it personally because I want to remember what game I worked, who I worked with, and then I also critique myself. If I figure if I put it down in writing, if I did a good job, it boosts my ego. If I did a lousy job, then it tells me that I better get on the stick and do a better job.
I'm just going to pick one of these out at random right now. Let's see if we can see what we've got here. Okay, here's one we got back in December of 1971. Cypress at East. Poor game, officiating was better than the game. It's one where you're giving yourself some pretty good credit.
It was a poor ball game.
Yeah, all the way.
Contrary to what many fans, players, and coaches may think, referees like Ray Hale are human beings. Their lives extend beyond the hardwoods and gridirons and musty locker rooms. Hale is a Salt Lake businessman, a husband, a father, and a grandfather. Refereeing is a hobby, but one he gets paid for. There were times when he received less than $1 a contest. Now, for a major college game, he gets $125 plus expenses. A varsity high school game pays $27.50.
Now, the trouble with a full-court press...
But there's more to it than just donning the striped shirt and showing up at the assigned gym. These are members of the Salt Lake Basketball Officials Association who get together for regular seminars. Rules are analyzed, situations discussed, and once a year the referees attend a clinic and are thoroughly tested on both the rules of the game and the mechanics of officiating. But it's game day when the real test comes, when in the heat of competition, split-second judgments are made.
Now basically, outside man will take everything high. Goaltending, basket, and a pregame conference is to get yourself thinking together mentally about the ball game. as well as a lot of officials have not worked together. So we go through that piece by piece and step by step so we know what to expect of each other when the time comes.
I'll take him all the way.
Your first responsibility is to go to the table and you tell the timer problems that you can expect may happen in the game, things that he'll have to do to overcome those problems. Then you tell the scorer, you could check the scorebook to make sure there's no duplicate numbers, they keep the book at the table, and just generally clue them in on things you expect that they're going to have to do to make the game run smoothly.
Hence, and you're Vanderhoof. I'm Ray Hale. How are you?
We'll say hello to both coaches, get the captains, come out, talk to the captains. Normally you don't say too much to the captains. They're pretty psyched up. They're ready to play, and you just say hello, shake hands, and we're ready to go.
All right, all we're going to tell you is this. You guys play basketball, we'll officiate. If you guys can't play basketball, Brian and I can outshoot any one of you, huh? Okay, have a good ball game. Good luck to you.
You get up for a game, does the adrenaline start flowing?
Very much so. Very much so. And it's funny, Elaine, but you have to be up for the ball game, and if you're not, then you might as well give it up. And I get butterflies in my stomach now just the same as I was when I was playing years ago. And when I lose those, I'll give it up.
All right, the only way you can step is back. Don't run with it. There it is.
Hey, why do you give instructions to the players? You're not the coach.
Well, that's true, but it's preventive officiating. If you can stop something from happening that really isn't going to hurt the ball game, then we think you should do it.
Sending people to the scorer's table, that's illegal.
Are you the captain?
Yeah.
Okay, now what is your question?
Why do you insist on only talking to the captains on the floor rather than anybody else?
Well, actually, that's what the rule says. You communicate to the coaches through the captains. And that's the best way to handle it, and that way you give the captain some responsibility, and then he's doing his job, and you follow the rule books.
It's got to count, Brian. No, that's the rule. I can't take all night. It's going to count.
After the shot.
The situation during a ball game, if a coach or the player wants an interpretation of the rule, we'll give him an interpretation of the rule. If he's questioning our judgment and he's wrong, then we have to charge him with a timeout.
Okay, out of bounds down here.
With the coaches, I think we're pretty lenient until they get a little abusive or start demonstrating too much. My experience, all of the games I've worked, I don't know of one official that I've ever worked with in any part of the country that's ever tried to swing a game one way or another. And that speaks pretty highly of that caliber of people.
So that if they make a mistake, it's an honest mistake?
It's an honest mistake, and we make them. You bet we make them.
You're fallible?
Oh,
a referee, you're fallible?
I'm afraid that's right.
How often do you make mistakes, Ray?
Every time we put our shirt on. But no, seriously, in a basketball game, it's a matter of judgment. You don't make too many mistakes. It's a matter of judgment in basketball. And the game is so fast going back and forth from one end to the other that sometimes you're in the worst position to make the call, sometimes you're in the best position. And those will even out.
Number 10, and we're shooting 2 shots. Intentional foul, buzzer simultaneous, we shoot 2. Game's over.
The ball wasn't even thrown yet. How can you run the clock out?
The ball was passed in.
The ball wasn't even touched in bounds.
Yes, it was.
He's right in front of you.
No. Let's go.
If you get in the ball game, fans expect you to call the same amount of fouls on one team as they do on the other. And that's really not the way it happens.
Okay, that's it. That's all, Coach. It's all over with.
I want to know. Wait, come here.
Everyone puts the focal point on that last minute or 30 seconds. Actually, they'll forget that maybe a minute and a half before they had 2 foul pitches and missed them both, or a few like that.
So the clock was off.
Why?
Why?
Because the minute the ball comes in, it's simultaneous with the clock.
He was
You have 1 second on the clock.
Listen, he was
You have
fouled.
1 second on the clock.
You know that
No, I'm not. Now look, just a minute. Just a minute.
Listen.
You listen to me. You want the rule or don't you?
I don't care what the damn rule is. Listen.
Coach,
Do you think coaches know the rules as well as you do?
No. There's no... I know of very few coaches, the great guys, but I know very few coaches that really know the rules.
Is that a problem?
Very much so. If they knew the rules, then we would be out of the hot water that we're often in.
the timer. Listen. The timer. The timer turned the clock on, and the minute I hit the buzzer, I hit the whistle, the buzzer
How
sounded.
can you turn the clock on before the ball is thrown in for play? That's what I'm saying. The foul is made before the inbounds play is made.
I'm not watching the timer. I'm watching
I
the
don't
foul
care.
out in front
You
of
should
him.
have called it first.
I called it.
Haley Demner knocked him over before he got the ball to him. Jesus, crackers.
Good game. Nice going, partner. Oh, that's plenty of action, huh?
As a wife, are you ever concerned for his safety, that perhaps things might get out of hand?
Yes, I've seen people chase him out of a stadium wanting to get at him, or yell at him, call him names. And it kind of is sad, but I know he can take care of himself.
Have a coach come after you like that, does that...
No, it doesn't bother me, because that's his bread and butter. You know, he's excited, he wants it, but we're out there to make sure that neither side gets an advantage, and that's all I can go by.
What's the toughest part of refereeing?
Oh, being consistent. Being consistent is the toughest part.
What's the funnest part?
Oh, I think, gee, just the whole thing. The way you deal with kids, the Star Spangled Banner at the very beginning, knowing that these kids are out there playing, and to them it's a world's championship, and you got to give 110%. And to see these great athletes move in and out so quick, and they're so big and so much faster than we used to be, that's the fun of it. Staying up with them. Try to stay up with them.
Ray Hale says he plans to try staying up with the kids for a few more years at least. Then, who knows? Even he might find himself in the stands as one of those noisy and excited fans who knows without doubt that the referee is the cause of his favorite team's woes. Dwayne Cardall, Dimension 5.
Ray Hale, by the way, is only one of about 400 certified referees in Utah. Well, every once in a while, a new sport comes along that catches the fancy of the spectator. It usually starts out as a pastime, then develops enough momentum for strong competition. Spectators enjoy watching it, and the judges or referees, as the case may be, enjoy keeping score.